My name is Monica Pratt. I work for Families Against Mandatory Minimums. FAM is comprised of inmates and their family members who are serving mandatory minimum sentences in state and federal prisons. If this was LSD, you'd be in prison for 5 years. No breaks, no parole, no kidding. And it's no joke. And especially if you're a first-time offender, you think that I'm not going to get in that much trouble. The sad fact of the matter is that until Congress repeals mandatory minimums, until we as Deadheads and as people who care about freedom can convince Congress to change these laws, this amount of LSD, a very small amount of marijuana, can get you into prison for a very long time.
So many people out here, I guess, they think that they're not going to get busted if they're selling acid or selling something else, and it's just kind of naive, and people just, they get busted and they turn other people in, and it's just big mess, and now there's something like 2,000 deadheads in prison, and it sucks.
I'm Peter Gorman. I'm the executive editor for High Times magazine. The mandatory minimums set up in '86 established that for every gram of LSD in your possession, for the first gram, you would serve 5 years in a federal penitentiary, no exceptions to the rule, unless you snitched or gave the federal government an enormous amount of money. One of the groups that seems to have been targeted, or appears to have been targeted, probably because they're very easy access, are Deadheads. Deadheads deal with LSD. The Dead shows have brought out LSD heads for the last 25 years and will for the next 25 years. 2 or 3 of the policemen who are undercover are alleged to have been working the Dead shows for more than 10 years now. And they're kind of elder statesman hippies.
This is FAM's memorial wall, and they're pictures of inmates and their family members that we've been working with over the years since FAM got started. For instance, most of these people are family members. Some of them are younger, some of them are older. None of them are the typical people that you would think would be in prison for drugs. This man's serving a 10-year sentence. This woman's serving a 5-year sentence. This man is serving a 10-year sentence for marijuana. This is Christian Martinson. He's serving a 10-year sentence for LSD. This is Jeff Stewart. He's serving a 5-year mandatory minimum.
If LSD was packaged on paper, it was weighed with the paper. So kids who are serving time for a gram of LSD, 95-97% of the time that they're serving is being served for paper. On a sugar cube, 1 hit of LSD might come up to 2 or 3 grams, which would get you between 5 and 10 years. 1 hit of LSD on a strawberry could get you 20 years in a federal prison. There is no parole board. You cannot be let out for good behavior.
Don't you know I gotta get stoned every day?
One of the things about the Deadheads, which seems tragic to most of us in the anti-drug war business, is that the average age of the kids being busted and serving federal mandatory time is probably between 17 and 22 or 23 years old. If you do LSD at a Dead show, you don't buy it at a Dead show. You don't sell it at a Dead show. Find another way. I mean, even though you mean well, there are too many undercover police working. The penalties are much too severe. You're not doing it to make money, you're doing it to try to be nice. That's the only reason anybody ever sells LSD. You mean well for the other person. They need a spiritual aid, you happen to have one. If they had a cough, you'd give them a cough drop.
Don't deal on tour. It's not necessary. Use it as a sacred ritual. If you must trip, keep it personal, make it your own ritual. Don't put yourself in the position of having to go to jail for 30 years for it.
They told us that in this part of the country, a law has been passed that if you have dead stickers in your windows, that's probable cause. You don't have any rights. Actually, a federal marshal came on with this smoke screen looking for the acid murderer. This guy who takes LSD and kills people, which I've never heard of any such thing in all my life. It's government propaganda, if you ask me.
There's someone filming us from across the way, and the DEA and the federal marshal are in the car in the parking lot waiting to talk to us.
And we go to the bus, there's a warrant on the seat.
They took his driver's license, his birth birth certificate, the title to the bus,
They
my
told us-
passport, my business license.
This is great for JD. Why should we shelter him? Why should we shelter him against what's really going on? There's some bad things going on. I love this country with all my heart, but the government is corrupt and they can't say they're not.
When I started going to shows, I was still inside of my mother.
Sometimes I had to go sit down. He was so active when he heard the music.
I've seen over 100 shows.
Having a kid is having a kid, no matter where you have a kid.
I like their music, and I like to hang out in the parking lot.
He is in the Young Scholars program. He's top 1% in the country.
My favorite thing about the concert is dancing.
Traveling, of course, it's an educating experience in itself.
I consider myself as a deadhead.
Sean is a little wary of saying to other kids that aren't involved in the scene that he likes the Grateful Dead.
I don't really talk to my friends about it a lot.
They're supposed to enjoy playing Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis or something of that nature.
Once I met some of the band, I think from a backstage pass, and I think I shook hands with Jerry Garcia.
Well, we're here today, Venton, the Dead Show. Okay, this is actually where our business began 2 years ago. I met him, he made shirts, I made jewelry, we quit our jobs and came out on tour. Now we have some stores in the Philadelphia area. We vend other music festivals, Lollapalooza, The Horde, Reggae Soul Splash. Today's our day off. So
we're out playing.
We're out playing.
It's just all about being kind to each other and being friends with everybody, no matter what they look like.
My mom has asked me a lot over the years if I've ever thought that I've wasted my life, and I really can't say so because I've had so much fun. I've seen so many things. Okay, maybe I'm not a millionaire, but you know, life's more than just money. You know, riches aren't necessarily how much money you've got. Some of the most unhappy people I've ever met have been people with a lot of money.
I've had 5 of these vans just like this, and they always break down. And you know what I do? I get out and I start hitchhiking. This guy took me home from the Phoenix shows, and he drove me home. His name's Pokey.
I know Pokey.
From Syracuse?
Yeah, he had a white bus.
Yeah, he had a white bus.
I know Pokey.
He drove me all the way home from Alabama to Alabama from the Phoenix shows.
That's right. He missed the Chicago shows because of it.
Because of that, yeah, but I still made it. But he didn't even want to go to Chicago because it was too cold.
He went to Atlanta or something.
No, he went to the gathering in Louisiana. But anyway, Pokey drove me home to Alabama from Phoenix. I decided to go get my bus in Oregon, so I split and I went to Oregon to get my bus. But these girls, I picked them up on the westbound side, but they were going east because this trucker was messing with them. So they went to the westbound side, so I picked him up hitchhiking, went all the way to Oregon with him, right? And then this was a friend of mine's car, and I lost the car. It was an 88 Prelude. I said, wind, autumn, here, take this car, go get gas money and everything. Then my bus broke down, so I had to call my friend and go, I lost your car, man, an 88 Prelude. I lost your car, bro. I'm really sorry. He's like, don't worry, it'll come back to me. When the bus broke down in Needles, I had to hitchhike all the way back east because the bus broke down in Needles. I got back east, and guess what? The girls drove the car back to Alabama for me. They were so nice, they were so cool, and they're here on the lot. Pokey is with the girls now.
Is that the car he was driving?
Imagine that. I saw Pokey, I run up to Pokey, I'm like, Pokey, hey, what's going on, man? And I look in the back seat, and it's the girls. I'm like, oh my God, it's a small world, and it just keeps going in circles.
No one likes to speculate on when the Grateful Dead will stop touring. I think the Grateful Dead have carved a niche in history, especially musical history, that won't be erased with their not touring. So there really is a whole culture that's grown out of the Grateful Dead phenomenon and continues to thrive and will continue to thrive because our children are picking up all of this stuff from us, and hopefully their children will pick it up from them, and we'll have a very peaceful, environmentally conscious future. And within the Deadhead community, that exists, and I hope that the Deadhead philosophies and the Deadhead values continue long after the Grateful Dead stop touring.
got married since we seen you guys in Eugene. We went through the drive-through chapel and got married on the school bus. Went and the Dead show was our reception. So now we're on our perpetual honeymoon. The perpetual honeymoon.
The river, she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea. The river, she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea. Mother, carry me, your child I'll always be. Father, carry me down to the sea. The river, she is flowing, flowing and growing. The river, she is flowing down to the sea.
Hi, my name's Jari. You'll see some footage of my dog here, Magoo, and if you could do me a favor, if you've seen my dog or you know someone who has him, I'm not gonna press charges or nothing like that. Just help me get my dog back. My phone number is 569-4959. Oh no, 567-4959. Edit that out. And remember, peace, love, and keep the fucking scene clean. Bye.